This morning, Donald Trump attacked his own supporters, calling them weaklings who bought into the bullshit. What is this all about? Well, the bullshit he's referring to is about Jeffrey Epstein. Let me try to explain what this internal MAGA fight over Jeffrey Epstein is all about. So before Donald Trump becomes president again, his enablers like Kash Patel, like Dan Bongino, like Pam Bondi are out there pushing this conspiracy theory about Jeffrey Epstein. Now, Epstein was this sleazebag who procured young girls to essentially serve as prostitutes for his wealthy elite friends. And there are a couple conspiracy theories about him. He was convicted of related sex offenses. He ended up committing suicide, apparent suicide in jail. And there are a couple conspiracy theories about Epstein. One was that he kept this lengthy client list of elites. The other was that his death was actually a murder to prevent that client list from becoming public. Now, among the purveyors of these theories were none other than our now FBI director, Kash Patel, and our number 2 at the FBI, Dan Bongino. Here's them. Listen to them.
Please do not let that story go.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book?
FBI.
But who? That is I mean, there's.
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are.
But it wasn't just them. It was also our now Attorney General, Pam Bondi. Here's what Pam Bondi had to say about the Epstein files that she was going to release.
DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
So the files are sitting right on her desk. Now, she ends up trying to walk that back, trying to say, well, no, I didn't mean those files. I was talking about some other files. But the MAGA base now is furious because Bondi has said that she's not going to release the files, and Trump is supporting Bondi in not releasing the files. So what is that all about? Well, the interesting thing is, well, Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and others, Mike Flynn, you remember him, the erstwhile National Security Advisor in Trump's first term? While they're out there pushing these conspiracy theories about Jeffrey Epstein, there was one person who rather oddly, suspiciously, was not pushing for the release of the Epstein files, and that one person was Donald Trump. So Trump, who is no stranger to conspiratorial thinking, never someone who shies away from pushing out the most crazy stuff in the world, was oddly mute about Jeffrey Epstein. Here's an interview last year where a reporter asks him, are you going to release these files or these files or these files? It's very telling. Watch.
If you were president, would you declassify, you can answer yes or no to these, would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would, or at least
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others.
So you notice how Donald Trump suddenly gets a little fearful, tries to walk back his willingness to release these Epstein files. Now, why would that be the case? Well, take a look at this photograph. That's Donald Trump with Jeffrey Epstein here and here and here and over and over and over again. They were very close friends. And don't take that from me. Here's what Jeffrey Epstein had to say about his friend, Donald Trump.
So how do you know this?
Donald's closest friend.
That's right, Donald Trump had no closer friend than Jeffrey Epstein, according to Jeffrey Epstein. Those are his words, that's a recording of him. So Donald Trump doesn't want these files released now, and of course, that's drawing lots of questions from his base and lots of anger from his base. Over the weekend, there was a conservative convention. Here's Megyn Kelly asking the crowd whether they want these files released.
Let me just ask you, make some noise if you care about the Jeffrey Epstein scandal.
Raise your hand if it matters a lot to you. Raise your hand. So every hand of 7,000 people.
Everybody cares.
A lot. I said a lot. Every hand.
The MAGA base clearly wants these files released. Here is one right-wing supporter of the president, at least previously a supporter of the president, and what they had to say about releasing the files.
It's the point I'm trying to make here is that it's the administration and their handling of this, which is why everyone's talking about it. It didn't have to be handled this way. It's been abysmal, and people aren't satisfied, and that's what all available polling shows.
So here, Trump World created this MAGA conspiracy about the Epstein files, and now they can't stop the momentum of this thing. And they're just raising more questions than they're answering by their effort to stonewall what they promised to do. Today, this is among the latest things, they fired one of the prosecutors who prosecuted Epstein and one of his accomplices. That person was James Comey's daughter. Did they fire her because she's James Comey's daughter? That would be improper for one reason. Did they fire her because she was a prosecutor in the Epstein case? That would just feed into what the MAGA base is already suspicious of. This is now becoming an issue in Congress as well. In the Senate, Chris Van Hollen offered an amendment to require that the Justice Department preserve the Epstein files and ultimately make a report to Congress. Republicans were afraid to vote against it. It passed by a voice vote. In the House, where they called a vote on the Epstein files, Republicans are blocking it. Now, that is not a good position for Republicans to be in, basically hiding the Epstein files from the American people. So Republicans in the Congress are in a tough place, just like Donald Trump. I began by talking about that tweet from this morning where Trump is calling his own supporters weaklings and saying they bought into the Epstein bullshit. But that tweet also includes attacks on Comey and on Biden and Hillary Clinton, the usual grab bag of suspects that Trump resorts to try to distract. Whenever Donald Trump is resorting to the usual enemies list, one that includes me, by the way, it's a pretty telling sign. Donald Trump wants you to look anywhere but where his problems lie. And right now, one of those big problems is Jeffrey Epstein, and it's a problem of his own making.